Welcome to episode number 9 of Find Your Success. We are back with Andrew Antonen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity.
Glad to have you. Well, the way that we got connected was unique relative to the other individuals that we've had on the show. But you and I were connected over Facebook because we were looking potentially for individuals to host amazing individuals in the Albuquerque area that we believed we can showcase that maybe weren't necessarily new school influencers, but were old school influencers, or were just doing the work, the kind of work that we respect. So again, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, where are you from? I wanted to ask. I know we talked about it a little bit on our first phone call, but where are you from?
So I'm born and raised here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I'm a true, authentic person from the 505.
The 505.
Yes, sir.
Raised.
Yes, sir. Born and raised. So the culture here, everything is what I live, what I love. It's just home. I've been all over the southwest part of the region, and I have family out in Iowa too, and I've also been to Mexico, but just something about here is home. I like to call it home, and I don't plan on leaving.
Good. Have you ever been to Finland?
No, I have not.
Do you have family in Finland?
I'm sure I do have like very distant family, but back, the story is back, the family was from Finland and they migrated into North and South Dakota, and then that's my distant family that eventually trickled down to my dad growing up in Iowa and Minnesota and stuff. So,
How did they end up here?
so my dad, he's a farm boy. They raised cattle, true pioneer days, pumping water, working since 8 years old out in the farm, sewing clothes, slaughtering chickens, canning food, you name it. So he grew up really hard, family of 5. My grandfather was always out on the road and my grandma stayed home. So he ended up having a real big passion to provide for himself because, his parents were struggling. It was hard. So he went to college, got his degree in business management and insurance as well. So he did a double major at the same time. Yeah. So then he went out to California and was a union carpenter. And during that time, he started realizing that he could make a decent living fixing up mobile homes and repairs at the mobile home park that he lived at. And there's a story that he got in trouble because he wasn't licensed and doing things the right way. So that's really what gave him the drive and the encouragement to get official. And that's kind of how it took off from there, from being a farm boy to owning a construction company over 40 years.
Now, did you say that was in California?
He started in California, had a pretty decent sized business in California. He had an iron company, construction company, and an inspection company for like home inspections. Unfortunately, he had a bad business partner that kind of took over him, and so the businesses dissolved, and he came out here to start from scratch. And pretty unique story on how he came out here too. He always used to go to Taos to go skiing, and my dad was a schoolboy, so he always researched like economics and development and stuff like that, and he realized that New Mexico was a pretty good shot to start from scratch with no credit, no money. He knew he'd survive.
And now how long has he been?
So here it's been about 31 years. So
a little while later, you came along.
Yep, not too long later. So it's been a fun experience, growing up with the values that my dad has learned from the pioneer days, working hard. My dad's 71, I'm 29, so there's a big age gap there. And from when he decided to have me as a kid, so I learned the old school values. I learned basically what a generation ahead of me has learned for being at a younger age.
I love that, and I picked up on that on our first call. That I was impressed. I thought I heard some things that were unique, that a lot of the younger generation were lessons that a lot of the younger generation hadn't learned yet,
right,
or wasn't willing to learn, or wasn't interested in learning. So I really appreciate that. I think that's really cool. Now, when it comes to you and your life, I want to talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
And maybe it's best just to ask you to share a little bit about your story. Is that
That's fine.
Right.
Definitely. That's definitely fine.
Who you are.
So, I was a normal guy that was raised by two good parents, was taught the right things, the right values, and I just happened to be a product of the drugs and the gangs and all the junk that comes with Albuquerque that people talk about all the time on the news. So I fell into drug addiction really bad. I basically had no money, had no values, no drive, no goals, no direction in life. And it took 3 times getting arrested and going to jail for possession of drugs. And the third time it was serious because there's a habitual offender law. And I was basically facing about 8 years in prison. So I was given an opportunity to take the drug court program, and it's like real intensive, and I graduated that. I did well, very well during that whole program, and I was approached by the courts to run the alumni group. So it's called the alumni coordinator for the Sandoval County Drug Court program. So they didn't have someone in place for that, and it was something that they wanted. And at first it turned out to be like a volunteer deal, and later on it became funded. And so now I actually get paid for the part-time work I do involved with that. But I had a hard lesson. I really didn't find God until I went to jail the most recent time. That's how I got clean. And I was just tired of seeing my parents get older, them starting to decay health-wise, and really I'm getting older myself, and I didn't have anything to stand on or anything to present or showcase to anyone in life. So I just ran at it with full drive. I wanted a different life. I chased it. I craved it. And I'm still chasing that now, because every time I get to like a new level, I want to get to the next level that's higher. And just during that path, I've had a passion and love to help other individuals that are going through drug addiction, or even if they're not going through drug addiction or alcohol addiction, but just need some guidance or some discipline. Like I've always really had a drive to do that, because I feel once I started learning the things that I could do and the things that I know now, I just don't want to withhold that information from others. I feel we all deserve a right to climb the ladder and get to the top,
I love it, man. That is awesome. What a great story. And I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing that.
Definitely.
It seems like maybe you've shared that more lately.
I have.
But nonetheless, like that takes some strength to share that and to be open about it, and to share those lessons with others. And again, it's really cool that you're going to share this on this platform with what it is. It's in its early stages, but I'm very grateful to have a story like yours on the show. It's unique. And with my heart for New Mexico, my heart for Albuquerque, seeing the pain that relatives have gone through in regards to drugs, it's tough. It's tough, but it's cool to see that for many reasons there is hope. And there is, and there's people to connect with, like yourself, to turn things around.
I agree. There is so many people that were there for me, but a very select few that actually truly were there and rode out the storm. And those few individuals were the ones that give me the drive and the passion to do it for others. I was told many times, when you get to the place where you can help others, return it back. And I feel I'm trying to do that now. I just recently started an apprenticeship program through my church ministry. And so I'm trying to give back to the kids, youth and stuff like that. Potentially help someone else that may be going down the path I was going, stop them from going there. So it's fun. I'm very blessed and happy to have the knowledge and the opportunities that I have now in life.
Well, speaking of faith and success, I'm curious, like what is your definition of success right now? Like, when will Andrew know he's successful? And if you don't mind, if you could touch on in regards to faith, family, business.
Okay.
Any definition you have?
Definitely. So success, I feel, is something that could be articulated in many different ways.
It's preference-based.
It is.
Totally preference,
when it comes to life as a whole, as far as my direction and being a moral citizen to society, I feel that I've reached that type of level of success. Success with God is always something that you're going to work on every day, no matter what. It's just a part of maintaining that faith and hope. And I go strong with that. I try to attend church twice a week, but I'm there ritualously one time a week, and I'm doing the apprenticeship program now. So that requires time every Sunday for about 8 weeks. And I do other things through the church. So, and even at home, sometimes the biggest moments you have with faith is just when you're alone and you have time to yourself, early mornings or late nights or the drive in the car. And then when it comes to business or a job or a career, I feel that I've reached halfway to my goal. I've came a long way from who I was before, from working for, just a normal employee, working wages, to now having an opportunity where I could be in a partnership with my father and have this business transition to me when he's ready to retire. It's a lot of responsibility, a lot of discipline. And I never had that opportunity before because I wasn't ready for it. So now that I have it, applying the old school values, new school values as far as social media, technology, I feel that, within 5 years, I'm hoping to see the business improve as far as volume and actually making it look more structured on social media and stuff like that. And, and I'm sure from there, it's just going to take off. I mean, even if you don't get rich, just having the simple opportunity to have the freedom, the time management, and to be an entrepreneur is amazing within itself.
You just touched on things, right? Speaking of being rich, the thing that most people look at is monetary values, right? Physical currency, dollars. But when you have your time available to you, that can make you very rich, or influence, or impact, reputation, energy. Right? Just having a ton of energy can make someone wealthy.
Oh, yeah.
I love that you shared those different aspects of what rich could mean. And that's not even touching on faith.
Right.
On how that really, in my opinion, dwarfs everything and covers everything.
What I know about faith is once I started really being a more giving person, regardless of what people think or if I have others that aren't believers and such forth, I've noticed that my values, my mentality, even my financial status has improved. Like I just give and I try to do in God's name, and I try my hardest to preach the values and live by the values that are taught in the Bible. And I've noticed my life improve a lot. Even with the business, things are starting to flow. Like I'm sitting here talking to you now, and that's just one of the amazing ways that we were able to connect was with faith. We talked about that during our conversation.
Good. Yeah, I love that. That's a huge deal. And to lean in and to trust God in that way is such a special feeling. And I'm happy that we got to connect through that. And it's cool how this conversation really came to be, because like I was telling you earlier, in the way that we got connected, you and I, and since then we've pivoted from most of that, because it brought up about other hardships, but you just happen to be someone that I did connect with, that we connected with, and I'm stoked that it ended up this way, and now we're sitting in this build that you're...
Yes. So we build custom garages and workshops. We used to do custom homes, additions, remodels, the works, but this is a niche that my dad found to be very easy as far as stress, and it's profitable, and he has all of his, I guess you could say all his resources and plans put together very well to make the process happen very, very fast and very smooth. And it's something cool that we like to do. My dad's always been a giving person as well. He's done a lot of work in the past for the VA department for grants and stuff for veterans that need their houses modified. And those are not very profitable, and they tend to be very time consuming and nitpicky. And a lot of contractors honestly don't take on that work because of it. And I can't tell you how many of those we have done since I've been a child till now. And it's been cool to watch my dad help others. He lives on quality product at a fair price. He definitely doesn't like to gouge people. So it's really cool to see the relationships we have with our customers. Matter of fact, this customer, and I have another customer with another garage down the road that I'm able to connect with them just based off of the things we've talked about, which was my past and and faith, and it's crazy to see how close people are in the community, how similar issues people are dealing with. And I'm just very blessed to be where I'm at. There's a lot of simple things that people really don't try with in life, and discipline, I believe, is one of them. Having a goal instead of a dream, because you can dream of something all day, but a goal isn't something unless you have a completion date on it and you actually execute your ideas. So it takes a lot, or even reading and different things. So I have like a wide variety of ways that I've tried to improve my knowledge and stuff. And if you don't mind me sharing, I'd be happy to.
Share that actually, and I just for the sake of people getting to hear where we're going, I'm curious what the tools and tactics that you're using, or that you use to get to where you are now, what those were, and some of the philosophies and the principles that maybe have influenced you as a whole, that have changed the way that you've thought, right? That have changed the way that you look at the world. So please feel free to.
So I'll start with mentorship. And the reason I say mentorship is because that was the first thing that really kind of kicked off the direction I'm heading into. It started with people being there for me during my drug addiction, mentoring me, teaching me money management or simple life skills, discipline, stuff like that. And it grew from being having mentors that were trying to help me get out of the position I was in life, to now I have mentors that are teaching me how to be a better leader to others. So I've expanded on that with watching podcasts like yourself. I've done a lot of book readings, a few books to name. It's like 21 Laws of Leadership or 48 Laws of Power or The Art of War, books to that extent and knowledge. And it's really interesting to gain that knowledge, because it's important to watch things on YouTube, podcasts, and videos, but there's a lot more knowledge you can get in books. It's a lot harder to pick up a book. I've always been a person that does not like to read. And now that I've been reading, I'm addicted to it, because there's so much information, so much stuff that you can learn and retain from it. And then going back to faith, serving the church, serving the community, helping out, so giving to others. And just really setting my priorities straight, right? So if I have to be at work, I'm punctual. If I have to get something done, I get it done when it's supposed to be done. I try not to procrastinate. I've cut back on other things as far as like socializing, because I've heard from billionaires that have had podcasts and stuff that if you want to reach your goals and you really want to be successful, that you really have to be obsessed with it to an extent. And you have to be willing to work when others are sleeping or partying. So if you do that, you really have like an advantage in life, because you're working faster than others and you're applying more effort than most people do. And I'm in a good position right now. I don't really have much to worry about other than my father and my mom. My mom recently got diagnosed with dementia, but so between taking care of them, as far as making sure the business runs and everything's good at home, I take care of myself and I just focus on what I want. And that's a better future. I realize that all the other things that people chase in life, as far as material stuff, cars, girlfriends, money, all of that comes after you work on yourself. If you better yourself every single day, those things just fall into place, into your lap with zero effort. I'm big on the concept of you don't chase butterflies with a net, you build a beautiful garden and attract them. And once I started learning those techniques, but you have to do it respectfully too, right? Because there's a lot of corporations, people in life that will influence others to step on them so they can get up higher. I don't believe in that. I believe in being respectful, having God's faith and how he expects you to treat others. And if you apply that mixed with all the things I stated, and also another thing to touch on is like law of attraction, law of manifestation, frequencies, vibrations. I've done some research into that too, and I believe a lot of that is true as well. Or like Stoic philosophy, Stoicism. I really enjoy all of those aspects, because once I started changing my looks, the way I dress, the people I talk to, the music I listen to, I started noticing that I felt better, that I wasn't tense, that I'm not upset. So it takes a lot of work A lot of discipline.
Yeah, you brought up many interesting things that I think we could talk about for a long time. I do want to say thanks for counting us in your podcast list, but you named some great books. I gotta ask, one thing that I personally have struggled with, and one thing that I'm working on this year is closing the gap between the stuff that I know I should do and the stuff that I'm actually doing. And what I found over the last several years that I've spent so much time investing in books, purchasing and spending the time, or podcasts or videos, or even hanging out at certain events and things like that. I've learned so much, but not always have I changed my actions. Have I actually implemented what I'm learning? Do you have anything to discuss there in regards to actually implementing things that you're learning?
I do. So my best advice is don't be scared. There's always risk involved in everything. So you have to be level-headed and make sure that the risk you're taking is not more than you can afford to lose. But when it comes to shaking people's hands or reaching out on Facebook or showing up somewhere just to have an opportunity or to seek an opportunity, you can't be scared from that. You just kind of have to do it. And even if the answer is no, you get rejection, it's okay. You move on to the next one. It's about consistency. And that's something it took me a while to learn too, right? Having the reflection on myself and my insecurity, setting that aside and actually going out there and facing rejection, because there's a lot more rejection to be faced in life before you succeed. I can't tell you how many times people didn't believe I would get sober off drugs. I can't tell you how many times people have told me that I won't get anywhere when it comes to what I'm doing as far as making my dad's company more modern when it comes to social media technology. But now I'm starting to get more and more likes, more and more views on my videos. So it's just consistency, it's a learning process. And sometimes you have people there to help you during that process, and other times you don't. And you just have to be willing to walk alone no matter what and have faith in yourself. A lot of people, they need a reassurance. And sometimes it's appropriate to get that, and other times you think you're getting reassurance, but really someone's talking you out of something that's really, really good that you're going to lose out on.
Yeah. Or you create a big, show if you're trying to coordinate between everyone's opinion.
Yeah.
You end up never doing anything at all.
It becomes a juggling act.
It becomes a juggling act, and it's ridiculous, and then you don't get anywhere, and it's still sitting on you. I absolutely agree on that aspect. I love how you pointed out just showing up. Now, I recently had a conversation with one of my mentors, a good friend of mine, about how I wanted to get closer to a particular goal. And we reflected back on what made me successful previously. And it really came down, for me personally, showing up and being present. That's it. Not this big, complex plan and strategy and all this craziness that the world says that we need, but just know who I am, show up, and be present. So show up as often as I can, and enjoy the company that I'm with. And it has gone tremendously well, and it's been refreshing actually to remember that it can be as simple as that. It's just showing up, and then you start to see the doors open, and you're like, wow, I really overthought all of these things I was afraid of, or that I thought would happen. They were potentially possibilities, but usually unrealistic. So I love that you pointed that out, and how powerful just showing up can be, and being willing to go out there and just do the thing and to potentially get rejected. I think that opens a lot of doors for people, and that's a valuable lesson for people around New Mexico to learn, and really around the world.
I agree. A lot of people expect immediate results. Patience is something that I never used to have. I still work on patience now, but patience has become my best friend. Anything is there if you're willing to wait and plan it out and execute your plan. So sometimes you expect a lot of progress, and it doesn't happen that way. There's always hoops you have to jump through in life. Always.
Yes. I heard a great quote. I might butcher it, but it's from Dan Sullivan, and from Strategic Coach, and it was about how goals aren't what destroy people, it's their timelines. they typically expect major changes too quickly, and it's destructive. It's too much. It's too much to change, and most people never get to those goals because they're always in a rush and they're impatient.
Right. I've also have heard as well that a lot of people, and I don't know the exact statistics, but I know it is statistically proven that most people give up right before they reach their success. They think that, oh man, I've tried so many times and I'm not gonna get there. And every person that I've talked to that's successful financially or business-wise has told me that pretty much the same thing. Like they've gone through so many more failures, so many more, much more rejection than any other time in life, but their consistency and just showing up and having the effort, even if it's a 1% gain every day, you're still improving.
Yeah.
It may not be noticeable, but there's still statistical improvement.
Well, if you're improving 1% every day, that's actually a ton of improvement in 1 year. And
Right.
oftentimes we're going slower than we would like, but faster than anyone would think possible, which is a lot of fun. So speaking of success and achieving success, I'm stoked to see where you're at now. Where are you going to next?
That's a good question. So the vision that I have right now, the goal that I'm trying to reach for is to get the business to the point where everything is in tune to where I can take over it, but also my father is on board with it, because it is a very delicate juggling act when you have someone that's in a baby boomer generation and I'm a millennial, and they have their visions and I have mine. And, you know, it's been a process trying to help my dad understand that nowadays most of the people we're selling garages to or workshops to are people that are on social media, that are using emails, and government entities and stuff like that have forced him to that point, you know?
It is funny that you said people who are using emails, because that's not necessarily a recent thing. It's
No, you know, and
funny.
so it's been interesting. But my dad and I, we do competition barbecue, and my father has been involved with barbecue his whole life. So he's done a lot of barbecue award sauces and rubs that he's entered into different competitions and stuff. And he really would like to put his time into starting something.
We'll be there.
Down that path, you know.
Cool.
And so I just want to see my parents happy. So my goal, like my next level of success, is getting the business to where it needs to be. It's already built its name, its brand, so to speak.
Have you shared the name yet?
No, I haven't. Yeah. So that's good that we're touching on that.
I know you're...
No, you're good. So the name is Amtek Builders. I always like to tell everyone
Amtek Builders.
Amtek Builders, AMTEK. You can find us on Facebook. I have a Facebook page that's started pretty recently that I'm trying to grow. You'll see a lot of stuff on my personal.
Results are here, though. We're literally sitting inside.
Yes, this is one of our products. I'm very happy to have this one. This one's going to be a workshop, so that way the individual can work on his cars. That's why it has higher ceiling. And then this side has more trusses, because they're going to build a deck up top on the roof. So we engineered it to where it's more structural, it can hold more weight. But yeah, so the business, you know, just getting the business where it needs to be. I would like to grow more in faith, do bigger things with the church, help out more with the church, and then, you know, start to mentor my little sister. I have a little sister that still lives at home, and she's 21, going to college and school and stuff. So I know she'll reach a point where she'll be curious of these, you know, paths or adventures I'm going down. And I like to help people. So if I were to, you know, come across a good financial stability or a big lump sum of money, I definitely would like to help out, you know, with the drug addicts, with the homeless, stuff like that. I would, whether I'm out there doing it myself or I'm finding someone that needs it or donating, I don't know yet, but I know once I get to a point where I'm pretty good off financially, I want to give back. That's a big reason why I do what I do now, is just returning back to the community that was there for me. We're
gonna have to talk about that more, actually, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because there's some people that I think you would connect well with, especially in that regards. I'll have to connect you with Joe Polish, who's the founder of Genius Recovery in Phoenix. And he's got a lot of really cool stuff there and a crazy story that's awesome. And it actually has a tie to New Mexico, funny enough. but that might be a valuable
Yeah.
thing to impact or to influence what you got going on over here. I think it's very cool.
Definitely. Definitely.
Is there anything that you're looking for internally, things that you're working on that are going to help get you to the next step that you can see already?
Yeah, so I feel that ever since I sobered up and, essentially have been socially acceptable, I've had a good set of values, but now, I'm really craving to gain more knowledge, learn more about fitness. Even recently, within the past 8 months to a year, I've been really aggressive on trying to stay away as much as I can from like processed foods, boxed foods, canned foods, things like that. And I feel better. So when I'm able to eat healthier and I'm able to get more knowledge and put it all together, results are happening, and that's what I like that's what's making me more curious about it. I'm more intrigued about it. I want to learn about it. So, there's a mentorship like program that I'm looking at, almost like an accountability coach. Gym has never really been my thing, so that's why that's one of the deals that I'm going to look into when it comes to eating healthier, is also working out and having something structured that's in the future. But I think once I learn, get more education, get more people under my belt that I've sponsored or helped in the drug community, or more clients or opportunities like this, is really what I'm seeking, is just more experience, more understanding, with what I like to call wisdom, because you can learn something, but for me, wisdom is having the experience and the knowledge put together.
Living through it.
Yeah.
Actually implementing things and changing outcomes. I agree. Being able to get the things that you want are called to, I'd look at as a way of, as a form of intelligence. If you can get what you want, if you can get to the place that you're trying to get to, is a pretty intelligent way to be. Well, I'm super glad that we've gotten to connect and hang out, and I think you're a very cool human being, and I'm glad that this happened this way. What ways can we support you?
So if anyone needs garages or workshops built, we build them custom, ground up, no metal structures. These are all wood framed structures, flat roof, pitched roof, fully loaded garage, or it could be bare. Like right now, this one's going to get insulated and drywalled later, and you can see there's electrical. Sometimes people don't want any of that. They just want a garage. So that's our bread and butter for the family. That's what supports myself, my father, and my sister. So it's really not for a purpose of becoming making more profits or anything like that. It's just continuing to have a secure workflow for the future, to put food on the table and take care of simple needs.
We ain't judging, but
yes,
if there's an opportunity to help you, we'd like to.
Yeah, that's just that, the advertisement, the marketing, just passing along the information of what we do. And
so where can people learn more about you and get in contact with your company?
Okay, so we have several ways to get a hold of us. So the first one I'd like to start with is Facebook. Social media is always nice. If you look up Amtek Builders, you could find the company page on there. There's lots of reels, pictures and stuff, work that I try to put on a daily basis.
They can just DM you?
Yeah, you could DM me on there through the business page, or my personal Facebook, Andrew Antonen. You can look me up. We have a website, which is kind of old school, haven't really improved on it much, because now social media is really where things are.
We'll send them to your number one way. Is Facebook your number one way?
Facebook would be the number one way. I would prefer Facebook. Yeah, Facebook, or if they'd like to give a call to, the phone number is 505-800-8023. So that's 505-800-8023. So either way, if they want to check out our Facebook or through there, Angie Leads is one of our lead sources that we use, Home Advisors and Angie Leads. But if you take that route, it costs us money, so it's just easier to call me. But that's for the people that don't know us, and that's also a good thing that bring up, because we have a lot of badges and awards that Angie Leads and Home Advisors has presented to us for having great customer service. If you look on our profile, there's a long list of references and reviews left by our past customers. So I always like to use that as our reference source for what other people have to say. Facebook shows what we're doing, and then the website's really just online, so that way if you're running a Google search, we're popping up, and of course the phone. So
cool. Well, we want to support you however we can, and it's exciting to see the work that you're doing. I'm stoked that we get to see the work that you've done, actually sit in it. You know, it's a fun experience, and I'm glad.
Definitely.
Well, are there any other social platforms? Are we missing anything?
No, I think we did hit it all. I haven't gotten too crazy when it comes to...
Keep it simple.
Yeah, I try to keep it simple. I'm managing all of this on my own, so it's hard.
We're not... I don't necessarily encourage complex. I like to make things complex, not because it's a good thing, but because it's a habit. So the more simple, the better. If you guys are getting business, then that's achieving its goal.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to see it. Was there any final words that you want to leave people with?
Well, I just want to say first off, I appreciate both of you taking the time to be here and give me this opportunity to potentially promote the business a little bit more, and also share my story with the community, right? This is just another avenue that I'm able to present and put my name out there for people seeking recovery or faith or a garage or a workshop. Those are 3 different ways someone can connect with me, and the primary ways I connect with people. And so it's a multi-use podcast for me. I feel like I'm hitting several aspects with one deal, and that's what I like. If you want to pursue business, I could put this out there. If I want others to know that there's resources and help, and if they need just a simple friend to message, talk to, like I'm here. That's all I want, is to let people know who I am and what I'm doing, and see if I could bring them any value, because we talked about this earlier too, right? People are so scared to give you their value first. They expect you to bring yours, and this is my way of saying, hey, I'm bringing out something first, and if you need me, let me know, and maybe if I need something, you'll be there too.
I love it. I think that creates an awesome community when givers show up to give.
Right.
Those are really the kinds of people that I like being around, and I really believe that that's one of the things that encouraged me to connect with you, is because I could hear it in your voice and your words of how much you like to give and how much that you've gone through, and it's really cool. So thanks again for showing up and hanging out and opening your doors, not only to the business but to yourself, for people to connect with you. And if there's anything you need in the future, we'll be around. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming our way. Before we wrap up, per usual, I got to shout out Jonathan as well for being the stud behind the camera. I wish y'all could see him. He looks great today. He's clean cut, nice beards. I wasn't going to say that, but you added it in there. He looks good for once. It's the only time, so I really wish he was sitting here today. But no, he's amazing. Couldn't do it without him. Very thankful for his time. Very thankful for your time. Thanks for being a part of what we're doing. And that's it. Episode 9 of Find Your Success. We're done. We'll see you later.